Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joey again. You're watching Vegas D-Tech. Got another one for you here today, guys. Today's video is going to be concerning the legalities now. Recently, there's been a court ruling here within the past 60 days, and that ruling has made it illegal again to film in national parks and on federal property without obtaining applications and permits. And we're going to get into that right now. And it's been one that's been concerning me for a while here. I've been operating under the radar, thinking that as an independent journalist that I'm a low impact media creator, content creator, and that I wasn't actually affected. But it looks like the way they have written these laws again, that yes, all content creators, regardless of the platform, we are all in violation. All content creators, doesn't matter what platform you're using, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok, if you're uploading media to the public and it's on an advertised supported platform, it is considered illegal to record in national parks. And yeah, we're going to get more into this here. But first of all, let's go ahead and get started with the water report for today. All right, so we're back out here again at my favorite Gratitude Park, right next to my neighborhood, and we're going to go ahead and get into this water report. So it looks like right now we're at 1,043.37 feet at Lake Mead, and like I said, we have been continually going down an inch to an inch and a half to 2 inches a day. For the remainder of the month of November, it's just going to continue to be like this. And I had projected that by the beginning of October that we would probably be right around 1,042 to 1,041 feet, and it looks like we're headed that way. All right, looking at the flow charts here, you can see for the past 14 readings here, we have been averaging 9,000 feet in and a little over, probably close to 11,000 cubic feet of water going out. So as you can see here, guys, this is the reason for the loss. Getting over here. All right, guys, so taking a look at the changes for today, you can see the last 14 readings here, everything in the red. All the way at the bottom there, you know, you've got everything from a ½ an inch to a full inch to 1.2 inches going across the board. We've had some days that were better than others where we're only giving up 0.3 inches, but on average, we're losing about an inch to an inch and a half a day, at least for the month of November. Will this continue on into December? I don't know. Like I said, we had the report coming in from Bureau of Reclamation that we were going to see another 20-foot down drop by July of next year. And at some point you can see it ain't going to be all at once. It's just going to be more of this progressive loss of water all throughout the oncoming months until we hit that threshold. Now guys, this is crazy, you know what I mean? Because at the beginning of November, we started off the month at 1,046 feet, and here we are tracking down to hit 1,042. So this is happening all over again. So a little while ago back, fellow YouTubers, Kara and Nate, who have a channel and they've got millions and millions of subscribers, were fined by National Park Services $1,000 for creating commercial content on their YouTube channel. And it had concerned them using drone footage, which is technically still illegal to fly drones around national parks and federal property unless you have permissions. I don't even know how to obtain those things. I'd love to be able to fly drones, but I haven't been able to figure out how to legally do that or how to get permission, so I've stayed away from it. But anyways, Kara and Nate were fined and forced to pay this fee for making content, which they deemed that the drone footage wasn't theirs, and they had just been using the drone footage that they had acquired and edited into their videos to put onto YouTube. Now, all of the laws pertaining to what you could or couldn't do or how you could film, all of these laws were pre-YouTube, okay? So these laws that were enacted came out like 5 years before YouTube, or 7 years before, you know, the Apple phone came out, the iPhone. And all of these laws predominantly pertain to like production companies, you know, filmmakers, and like, you know, National Geographic, when they wanted to come out and actually make a movie or a film and so forth, they needed to acquire permits. And, you know, people were like, hey, yeah, you know, I'm cool with that, because who wants to come out to a park and be inconvenienced by having a whole film set, you know, set up to where you have to walk around them, or you can't go into a certain area because they're filming, you know? So because of the inconvenience to the public, it was deemed all right for, you know, these production companies to have to pay a fee to the taxpayers for utilizing the resources at national parks. But I never thought that it would actually affect the vlogger like myself, that just, we're considered low impact content creators. You know, we have just a small little camera like a GoPro or an iPhone, and we just basically boots on ground. We are just actually showing you what is going on at the park and bring you along with us as we're making vlogs. And for the longest time, it really didn't affect the small guys like us, as the NPS were predominantly looking at production companies, you know, crew, people that had cameramen and gaffers, microphones, lighting, booms, stuff like that, things that I don't carry. So basically, guys, the laws, the way it was written, was that if you are a commercial filmmaker and you wanted to make any kind of footage, and if it was for profit, you were going to make money off of it, you were required to go in and file for an application fee and pay a fee for a permit. Okay, and that was all fine and dandy. So the National Park Services knew that the law was rather dicey, and they didn't really go after, you know, small-time people that were out there just filming. And I really don't understand how it would be possible for you to police this type of a ruling anyways. I mean, what are park rangers going to do? If they see a guy walking around with a camera, talking to a camera or a phone, are they automatically going to run up to you and ask you, are you filming? Do you have a permit? I mean, how would they actually enforce the millions of people that run through national parks? How would they do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. So anyways, the NPS knew if this was taken to court, that they would probably get a bad ruling against this, and it would probably be dismissed. So what they would normally do is they would just settle by you telling them that you would take your video down and not do it again, and they would just leave it at that. The fine would be thrown away and you would be given a warning. Now, in 2018, an independent filmmaker named Gordon Price made a video called Crawford Road. He was just by himself out in Virginia. I think it's called the York Battleground District in Virginia, and he was making a video documentary on missing people and strange occurrences that were happening in public parks. Now, he released this footage to a private audience, right, a screening, and I think it was like 300 people came to see it. Well, somewhere along the line, that video was leaked to the National Park Services, and he gets a knocking on the door, and officers issue him a $1,000 fine, stating that if he didn't pay it, he could be punished by up to 6 months in federal prison. Gordon Price, he resisted that. He went ahead and sued the National Park Services in court, and sued the Attorney General as well as the Department of Interior, and he actually won, okay? 2 of the judges ruled in favor of National Park Services. 1 judge says it was unconstitutional, and it was, you know, against free speech to have individuals like myself, independent journalists, individuals with one small camera filming, just because they were making a profit on it, that it was considered unconstitutional to demand that this individual would have to go and file for application fees and pay all kinds of permits along the lines of a full-fledged production company like a film company. And so he won that case. So it says that the federal government can make rules concerning what kind of equipment you can bring, how big your crew can be, and the type of resources that can be used in the filmmaking of your production. But they can't tell you that if you're making any kind of money off of, you know, speech, that is considered unconstitutional. Even the local news agencies, when they go out to the parks, they get some form of payment for the work that they do. So why not independent journalists? So once the verdict was passed down, the ruling came out. The rules pertaining to independent filming were pretty much simple, that anyone can film as long as they were able to keep all of their equipment in their backpack. All right, so that was saying also that as long as you had one tripod that you could put on the ground, that would be just fine, and they would not go after you, and everything was legitimate and kosher, and you could film in the national parks as an independent journalist. Now, at the same time where they passed those rules allowing you to film, they went ahead and started their appeal process. So they're winking at you with one eye, giving you a thumbs up, but at the same time, they're filing the appeal. So they didn't really mean that. They didn't really mean that they wanted to give you permission, because they filed an appeal. Now, just recently, within the past 60 days, that appeal was won, okay? Their appeal was heard, and they have since reversed the ruling that allowed us to actually film at the national parks. Now guys, this does not just pertain to national parks. This pertains to any federal property, okay? So if you are at the Lincoln Memorial, the National Mall, so if you're in DC and you happen to see a riot or a protest or something like that, and you wanted to film this protest and you uploaded that media to the internet, if that media is uploaded to a platform that has ad support to it and there's money to be made, that is considered to be commercial filmmaking, and it requires permits. Since they've appealed the law that gave people permission to film in parks on a private individual level, since that has been repealed, we're back to the old law that says that you have to fill out an application and pay a fee in order to film in public parks. And if you are cited for not having that application filled out or that permit, they could fine you $1,000 or be mandated to serve 6 months in a federal prison. Now guys, that's not exaggeration, and that's not, you know, sensationalism here. Those were the exact words passed down by a circuit court judge. And guys, look, I'm not proposed to not paying a fee to actually do recording when I'm at a park. I mean, I already pay a fee when I go in. We all pay a fee to international parks, and it's like $20 per car, or you could pay like the yearly pass, which is like $50, because people tell me, Joey, man, if you enjoy going to the national park, it costs money to maintain the park. People are saying that the national parks, they're underfunded, and that, you know, they're leaking for money, and you know, they need to make money somehow to keep the parks clean, to keep them manicured, keep the trash cans emptied. And if you enjoy using the porta potties, somebody has to go in there and remove all that waste. So that's the reason for these fees. And my question is, if it's really about fees, I have no problem paying them, okay? Now, the thing is, with these fees, they have to be reasonable. And to understand, at current right now, the fees that they're asking us to pay, the application process isn't as simple as going into the visitor center and saying, hey, I'd like to make a, you know, do some filming today, you know, here, sign out this paperwork, here's my name, blah, 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 I paid the $20, wear a lanyard with a little teeny permit on it saying that I can film for today. It's not as simple as that. The current rules are you have to fill out an application process that stems, you need to be 14 days in advance. You have to fill out the whole itinerary as to what crew you're gonna have, how big of a crew you have, what type of equipment you're gonna bring, how long you're gonna be out there, what are the dates that you're gonna film, what is the nature, what is the material gonna be covering, what it's all about. And guys, come on, independent journalists like me, we don't have that kind of stuff. I mean, as I come up with a report, I run out and I make a report. I upload a video and I give it out to you guys. We're not an actual full-blown production team that has all that information, okay? And even so, it normally costs around $300 to submit that application form, and it can be rejected. You know, if they look at it and they don't like the message that you're trying to make while you're using the parks as a background, they could reject that. And the $300 application fee that you paid is lost. Now, that's just the application fee. the actual fee could stem up to $150 a day that you go out there and shoot. Well, guys, that would be ridiculous. I mean, independent media creators like myself would not be able to afford to go out here and make, you know, videos on YouTube, because that money that they're asking right there is along the line of a full-blown production team or a movie set to come out and rent an area for, you know, rent an area here and say they're gonna make a movie over here, and they're gonna be in this area for a week, you know, and they can afford to absorb the cost of an application fee and permits. Now, I'm not like saying that I wouldn't pay a fee, but it has to be reasonable. It has to be on an individual basis, you know, low impact. I don't have a set, I'm not gonna be interfering with the public. I don't burden the resources. I don't scare the animals. I'm not bothering anybody. Normally, as you can see here, like, I'm out by myself when I record. So if they want me to pay a fee, I'm willing to do that, but it has to be something reasonable for an independent journalist, you know, to absorb. The YouTube content creator, RV Miles, basically reached out to the, how does it say? He reached out to the Washington National Mall Memorial Parks Division for permit management. My God, can you say that 3 times? Yeah. He contacted the Washington National Mall Memorial Parks Division for permits, and he asked them, since the reversal, what now? You know, what can we expect as content creators? What do we need to do to continue filming out there? And their reply was that right now they're in a situation where they're on holding pattern and they're awaiting guidance from their attorneys and lawyers as to how to move forward with this from this point. But at current, that as long as you can keep equipment in your backpack and you have one tripod, that they're going to allow you to film for the moment. But the wheels are turning, guys. And I can see that this thing could possibly be changed instantly here in a heartbeat. So folks, if you're a YouTube content creator, you know, for YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, be ready that at any moment you can turn on your television set tomorrow and see that the ruling has changed. And guys, this is gonna really affect all the media that you see on TV. This is, to me, this is almost like blatant censorship, because who is going to be left if independent journalists can't make reports or document things that they do when they come out to a public park or federal land? And let me tell you, federal land, 28% of everything in America is owned by the federal government. I look at it as being a lot more, because if it's not purchased, then the federal government owns the land, right? So you got to have permission to do any kind of filming. And you know, if you were rich and you had the ability to fight this in court, you could pretty much fight back and say, well, still photography, they allow still photography, but they don't allow videography. And I could just sit there and say, hey man, look, my camera has 2 buttons. If I hit the camera button, it's legal. If I hit the record button, it's illegal. But I could literally say that my camera, it records 60 frames per second. It takes 60 photos per second, and it stitches them all back and plays them simultaneously to make a video. You know, if you wanted to play this game. You know, it's like saying that, hey, you're allowed to come out to a park and you can paint a picture in black and white, but you're not allowed to use color crayons or markers. It's really ridiculous, guys. You know, but what say you? What do you guys think about this ruling? Is it ridiculous to actually ask independent journalists, personal content creators, just because you're at a public park and you're filming and you're making videos, that you are not bothering anybody, you're not filming anybody without permission, you're not causing a disturbance, you're in no way a problem at all? Should it be that you need to go and file for an application and pay a fee to record? And also, the problem with that there is that they make it onerous, very difficult to actually do it. It's like I said, it's not something as simple as just walking in and paying a one-time fee and doing what you got to do. I would gladly do that. You know, I want to support my community, I want to support my parks, but the way it's currently written, of having to pay $300 for an application fee, submit it, and then they could actually look at it and reject it if the message that you're making is not conducive to what they feel as being, you know, in a productive light or a positive light. They could just reject it. And that to me is censorship. The news is the news. You know, breaking news. How can you possibly report on something breaking if you don't have time to go and apply for a permit in the first place? You know, how could you possibly do that? So if you and your family are at Yellowstone National Park and my goodness, you just happen to be there when there was a humongous eruption that happened, you break out your phone, you film it, and you upload it to YouTube, and you could do that instantly with YouTube Shorts. You can instantly put that on YouTube. Well, if you do that, the nature of doing so, you are committing a crime. It's supposedly illegal for you to actually film that way and upload it without any type of a permit. And I think that is absolutely ridiculous. How are you ever going to get breaking news? You know, how are you going to get that news footage? So much of what you see on TV that the news puts out there, that footage has been provided by independent journalists, people like you and me that just happen to be out there, and we happen to have our cameras on, and we were able to record footage, and we give that footage to the news, and the news uses it for their report. And with that being gone, so much is going to be missed, because no news agency is going to be on scene all the time. It's people like you and me that are going to be out there that happen to catch this along the way. So guys, this is going to affect so many content creators, thousands of channels, thousands of content creators that, you know, drive around in RVs, you know, and they're documenting their trip to show you guys nice, beautiful places that you and I may not be able to go. You can actually see these things through the comfort of your home, through platforms like YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. This is going to affect all that. They're not going to be able to do this no more. And there's lots of people, tourists, RVers, snowbirds, and so forth, that they spend all their time. And a lot of people, they create their revenue based on doing stuff like this. And they're no longer going to be able to do that if this stuff goes through and they change it completely and the circuit court judges deem all this stuff to be illegal. This is going to completely change the way that you see things on YouTube. And, you know, moving forward, I question the future of my channel and channels that are like mine. You can't go to a public park and film yourself fishing. You know, you just can't do these things that we go boating, you know, show an excursion where you're just going around in a canyon and you're showing the cliffs. If you're going to upload it to a YouTube channel that's ad supported, it is illegal and you can't do it without a permit. So guys, I don't know about all this stuff right here. So far, I've been working under the radar. I'm going to continue to do what I do until they say that it is completely 100% illegal. So for all you YouTube content creators that are out there, be on the lookout, man, for future rules and regulations to be changed in the near future. Who knows how long that's going to be? Could it be within the next week, next month, within the year, beginning of next year? Who knows? You could just open up the news tomorrow and see that the circuit court judges have rewritten this law and they're no longer going to allow us to do this. And it's going to be really crazy. I mean, this is like overreach, and it could pertain to what's the next thing. You can't film, you know, police officers anymore, you know. Yeah, this has the potential to just overreach and stem and go far and wide. And I don't want to see it go that way. For independent people to make films or videos, to have to make them jump through all these hula hoops is just ridiculous. But what say you guys, man? I'm eager to hear what you guys have to say about this. Is this just unconstitutional? Is it just bureaucratic red tape, not wanting, you know, independent journalists to record things out here? How would you get information if you wait for the news to give it to you? I mean, the news can give you watered down renditions, you know, fully censored, fully scalped, bleached versions of things, whereas an independent journalist can go out there and they can show it to you like I do. You know, I bring you out with me and I show it to you as I see it, and you get the unfiltered raw footage. And that's going to go away if these court proceedings continue on and they deem it completely 100% illegal. Because like I said, you can obtain a permit to film, but it's going to be very, very difficult to do. and it's not going to make things easy, and you may see a lot of these channels completely have to stop filming in national parks and on federal lands. But yeah, guys, I'd like to hear your, comments on this, your opinions. Put them down below. It's going to be very interesting to see what you guys say about this. So yeah, guys, so that's all I have for you today. If you found any of this information beneficial, useful, helpful in any kind of way, please consider giving me a thumbs up, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It helps me to appease this YouTube algorithm so that I can get my videos out to you in as fast a time frame as possible. So guys, that's it. I'm gonna head up out of here. This is Joey, you're watching Vegas Detect. You guys be well. I'll see you guys soon. Take care now.